So step two of making use of the ePortfolios is that you've now created and shared the template with your learners. So I've created an account here just so that I can show you what the learners will need to be doing. So you've assigned it within their Google Classrooms. So we can see here that here's the piece of work. What you're going to ask them to do is to click on and open that piece of work, and then they will see the link to your ePortfolio folder. So they're going to click on that link, and here they're going to see the folder that you've just shared with them with that copy of the example portfolio that you've created. Now, for your learners, they may see it within the list format, or just up here, you'll be able to see that they can have a grid layout as well. So it's entirely up to you and them how they want to see their work and how they're going to be able to edit it in the future. So we'll keep it with the list layout for now. What your learners will need to do is to click on the more actions, so those three dots, and they're now going to make their own copy of that portfolio. So I'm going to click that make a copy, and we'll see down here that it's creating that copy, and it's creating that copy within their My Drive. So once that's been done, we can then click on My Drive, and they will see that they've got their Google Classroom folder, and this is where all their work is stored from their Google Classroom. And they also have that copy of the example portfolio that you've shared. So the first thing we're going to ask the learners to do is to rename it. And what I'm going to ask them to do is to rename it with their name. And we're just going to keep it as their name and then digital portfolio. And I think it's an opportunity to explain that the reason that they need to have that digital portfolio is so that when they're then looking for these folders in the future, they're easy to find if they've named them appropriately. They click OK, and then they've got their own digital portfolio now. What we're going to need them to do, though, is to share access with that. So if I click More Actions, I'm going to click Share, and I'm going to click Share again. And just like we had before, when we shared your template from your Google Classrooms folder, we've got different options. Now you can see here that within General Access, because this is a website, we now have two different views. We've got the draft view, which shows what they're working on, and we've also got the published site view. And what we ask the learners to do is to be able to change that published site from restricted, and we're going to ask them to change it. And because this is a Gmail account, to be able to demonstrate it, what your learners have is that they will have restricted and they will have hub. So they're going to change it to hub. And this allows you then to speak about the online safety, why it's important that only hub users are able to see their work, and what a hub user is. So it's those people within education and within Wales. So they change that to hub. So we're going to change this one to public, and then they click done. Now they also need to do that with their Google Classroom, and that's because any work that they add to their portfolio will be sitting in this folder, and if they haven't shared that folder, you're going to have to request access to see any of the work that they're uploading. So what they can do again is on those three dots, they click share, share again, and they're going to change that general access from restricted, and they will have hub. So they will change it to hub, and they'll click done. What they'll see is the image on that folder has now changed. It's got a little silhouette, and that means that the folder has been shared. So when we're looking at what we want the learners to be able to do, they've then created and shared their copy of their portfolio. So when they click on their portfolio now, we will see that we've got the name up here with Gavin O'Loughlin Digital Portfolio. We're also going to ask them to put their name up here on the top left. And then they can also start to edit and put their name in there. So we can delete that. And this is where they're also able to personalize and start to fill in their all about me on what you've decided they need to fill in on there. So it could be that where they've got things like what people like and admire about me, they can go and ask their friends and they can start filling those in and say who's said what. When it comes to their work, if we go to the year 4, for example, what we want our learners to be able to do is to click, they're going to add a content block. We're going to ask them to add a piece of work so they can add it from their Google Drive. They've got their work in their classroom and they'll be able to go in, select that, and where they've got that work, they can add it in there. We can also click to add the title of the work. So my and then this is the part that we want the learners to be able to reflect on what they've done in this piece of work. I have learnt, and then they can reflect, they can say what they've learnt, and then also we want them to be able to go and have a look at those 4 purposes and think about which of these 4 purposes or the characteristics of those 4 purposes it's been particularly relevant to. So if they had to take measured risks, they can go back to their reflective piece of work and explain that I had to take measured risks supporting me understanding contributor. Now, after the pupils have created that and they've been able to start adding their work, what they can also understand is how they can use those content blocks to add in different views, so they can choose what their work starts to look like on their portfolio. They can start to manage their pages. They can add their achievements outside of school by going on these at home and understanding what they can do from home. And then we've also got the ability to undo the last action, redo. They can preview what their work looks like, so they'll be able to see what their website looks like to others. They can't copy the link yet because it says there that we can't copy the link for an unpublished website. So what we need the learners to do is to go back to their homepage. They're going to publish their website. So we can see there that we've got the link for our website. I then go through and discuss that we've got the HTTPS, and what we can see with that S is that it shows that this is going to be a secure website. And we can look at things like Adidas and Google or anything that we're adding personal information to, and why we have that S in there on our link. So we publish our website, and then we can see there that we can copy the link to our published website. And this is what we'll ask our learners to do now, is to copy that link. And that's what they're going to share back with you.